name is Becky Russell. I live in Umatilla, Florida, and really enjoy being out in the country a bit. I go to the Umatilla Church, but I'm really glad to be here today and share my testimony. And my purpose of giving my testimony is to hopefully encourage other women that may have been in my situation where I was when I was 20, in my 20s, 40 some years ago. I was raised in Key West, Florida. It's a little island, 3 miles by 5 miles. Everybody knew everybody, especially back in the 50s and the 60s when I was young, and the 70s. My childhood was kind of rough. My mother was married 4 times, had children from 3 different marriages. My father was married 4 times and had children with all his wives. So I have quite a few brothers and sisters. My full brother died at age of 29. And my brother and I, in our early 20s, we were all into just spiritism. And we saw this ad in the paper one day, and it was on these revelation seminars, and he had all these weird pictures, dragons, and this woman, riding this beast, and it perked our interest. So Lester Pratt, the evangelist, was coming to Key West at Mallory Square. Mallory Square, that was the hopping place to be, so we're thinking, this is really going to be cool. I had 2 children at the time. My husband and I had broken up, and I had a bicycle with 2 seats. And I had a seat on the front for Matthew and a seat on the back for Melanie. And that's how I got to the meetings. I'd ride my little bike in the daytime, and often when the meetings were over, it was dark, so my brother had a postal van, and he'd throw my bike in the back of the van and give us a ride home. But we went to the meetings, not really expecting what we found. We thought that we'd have some insight into, the mystical world out there, the 4th dimension. But we found a multi-dimension existence and world in the meetings that we attended. We got to know what the Bible was and what the Lord had done for us in a more realistic way. Both of us were raised Catholic. We went to, we had our catechism, our baptism, our communion, we did all that kind of stuff. And we went to confession. My grandmother was a deep Catholic, very religious woman. But we never really delved into the Bible or considered the Bible in our Catholic religion. So here we end up at Mallory Square, Lester Pratt, given evangelistic series on Revelation, Daniel and Revelation. And it just blew our minds, we just couldn't get enough of it. Reading The Desire of Ages really just compelled me to know the Savior. Because the situation I was in, alone with 2 kids, I grew up in the projects. My kids were 3rd-generation project kids. And I figured that was my life. What can I do? I didn't have a high school education. I had nothing. But when I learned about Jesus, it's kind of like I had some hope. I found that somebody, because I always never felt loved, with so many stepfathers and so many stepmothers, that I just never really felt loved. But when I met Christ, I had hope and I felt love. And it gave me the courage to be more than a mother single mother, alone in the projects, raising 2 kids. And I really learned to have that relationship with Jesus. I see now, when I look back, that God was there all along. Some of the situations I found myself in, there's no other way to explain how I escaped other than it was a miracle of God. He's just delivered me from so much, and He blessed me. I mean, my life just turned around. Things were different now. They weren't the same. And it's not to say all of a sudden I became a saint, because believe me, I wasn't. But little by little, bad habits are shed. Often difficult. It's a long process. He's still working on me. I'm not that reflection of Christ that I would like to be, but He's still working on me.